What's going on, guys? Jay back here. So the beta is closing today, so I'm gonna rush out a couple of videos that I wasn't quite ready to make just yet. The first one being the MachineDart Fetish build. I did this a little bit on stream earlier today. I don't quite have the gear that I need for it. Basically, the way that you want to set it up is you would like to have the 4-piece set bonus from your zuni set. Your fetish army lasts until they die, and those guys are pretty resilient. They don't die to much. So what you would want to run is Legion of Daggers fetish army. So you have 8 of them out at all times, and then you would run fetish sycophants, probably having something like 12 out most times. And then you would run this Karn Evil helmet. Your fetishes shoot a poison dart every time you do. Unfortunately, I have 3 pieces of the zuni set with the ring that reduces the number of set items you need. The problem being that the 3rd zuni piece I have is a zuni's vision, which means I wouldn't be able to run this. So for this particular video, we're not going to be able to do what I would like to do with the build. So what you would do is what I just said, along with you would stack fetish army damage and poison damage is what you would do. And pretty much the way it works is you cast your fetishes, and then they all shoot a poison dart when you shoot one. Now they shoot just vanilla darts. So I'm currently using splinters with mine, but they just shoot vanilla darts, pretty much. But you know, if you did have the zuni bonus, these guys would be out all the time doing this, and then you'd get the bonus from the passive as well. So that's what we're running. The way this works, you don't really need attack speed for your fetishes because they shoot the dart every time you do. So you really want to stack attack speed for yourself. That way you're casting darts more often, and the fetishes are as well. So that's what you really want. So we're trying to get as much attack speed as we can. We actually want to put a little bit more Paragon points into attack speed. I want to max that out first, and then the crit chance here. And the rest of the Paragon points, intelligence, we got movement speed, all res. We're just going to do Torment 1 for this video, but we got all res for that. And then over here we've got, we're going to go life on hit and area damage for Paragon points. So that's that. As far as the rest of the gear goes, we got an Azure Wrath, more than anything just because it's really high damage. It's the highest damage weapon that I have. We've got poison damage on the Swampland Waiters. We have poison damage on the Warzekian Arm Guards. Then we're also going to stack as much cooldown reduction as we can, since I don't have the Zuni 4-piece for this particular build. So we've got cooldown reduction on the Dead Mouse Amulet. We've got cooldown reduction in the helmet. Cooldown reduction on the gloves. Then we're getting a 500 int from the 2-set bonus on the Helltooth Mantle. 500 int. I mean, it's a lot of damage. We got a Unity here, a little bit more damage versus elites, and then this Avarice Band is just high damage, and then we get some more cooldown reduction on the Zuni string. And this is just a really nice Zuni string. It does a lot of damage. The mana regen on the Zuni string is irrelevant for this particular build because we're not using mana pretty much ever, because Poison Dart is free to cast. That's pretty much just what we're spamming. Then as far as the rest of the abilities go, mainly just maxing your damage on the Poison Dart and your Fetish Army. So you got Big Bad Voodoo, Extra Intelligence, which translates to damage with Soul Harvest, and then you got Spirit Walk Jaunt for more movement speed and get you out of sticky situations if you need it. Paranado, it's really good for this build actually because it gathers everything up, and it doesn't have the most amazing AoE ever with the darts, but it's not bad for AoE if you position your fetishes correctly. So before we get into it, also Pierce the Veil for more damage, and Tribal Rites for less cooldown on the Fetish Army as well. And then Graven Justice, more cooldown reduction. Basically, just because we don't have the Zuni set, we're trying to get as much cooldown as we possibly can from all those different things. Now, before I get into it, a couple bugs that I've seen. If your fetishes go into melee range before they've shot a dart, they seem to just stay in melee mode. So even after all the enemies are dead and you continue to shoot your darts, they don't do anything. They just sit there until they can melee something. So that's definitely got to be a bug. It seems a little strange. Another thing too is that when you cast your fetish army, if you have fetishes out from fetish psychophants, they die, which I don't think that's intended either. So it's a little strange, but we'll go ahead and get into it real quick to show you how the build works. Let's go kill Gom. Show you how fast it can melt a boss. The single target is just really, really good. I mean, those guys are extra health. Now, this is only Torment 1, but again, we really don't have the most proper setup we need for this build. This is something that I've been working on for quite some time, hoping I could test it relatively extensively, but, you know, just unfortunately with drops and things the way they've been, I haven't been able to. The biggest issue right now, not having that Zuni set bonus, is just that sometimes your fetishes will be dead, and you don't have your fetish army off of cooldown just yet. So now it's off cooldown, so now we can go ham. So, I mean, it kills elite and champion packs very quickly. And again, we could have a lot more fetish army damage, we could have a lot more poison dart damage than we do at the moment. It could be much better. Now, another issue that you'll run into is that they're always going to shoot the daggers when you, or shoot the darts when you do. So sometimes you have to make sure you kind of get them to follow you first and then start shooting your daggers, because they'll get stuck back here and just shoot daggers into the wall for no reason. You gotta be a little bit careful with that. So those ones we've got out right now are just from the passive currently. We're about to fight Gom, so I don't want to cast my fetish army ability right now, because otherwise it'll be off of cooldown when we get in there. But I mean, even still, we've got 6 out right now, 5 or 6 from the passive. I mean, with a bunch of attack speed, that 5% chance to summon a fetish is going to be pretty often. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to get up to like 3 attacks per second like you do in vanilla. But you can get up pretty high still. It's not the worst. I mean, attack speed has been nerfed quite a bit, but you can still do it. So let's go ahead and fight Gom real quick. Let's get fully buffed up here. So as you can see, pretty much just melts. You can imagine if I had 15% extra damage to my fetishes on the offhand, the boots, and the helmet, how quickly he would have just died. It would have been very, very solid. Now, another thing that you cannot do, unfortunately, is run this Mask of Jerem in this build, because obviously you need the Carnival to make it work, which is unfortunate, because if you could run these in tandem, maybe it would be too good. Maybe that's why they made both of these effects on a Voodoo Mask. That might be why. Maybe they tested it and they're like, that would be too good. Because, I mean, 90% more damage to the fetishes. You can already see they're doing a ton of damage with a not optimized build gear-wise whatsoever. So that's probably why. But anyways, guys, I wanted to show you that. I think it's awesome. I think it's like one of the coolest things I've seen with the Witch Doctor in the beta. I think it's going to be a lot of fun when the game releases. So pretty much anybody, if you're curious what you're going to need to do when the game releases, you're going to need to get the 4-piece Zuni set. So you need 4 pieces of that and this weapon to make this work, or this helmet to make this work. And that's really about it. I mean, the rest of your gear, you know, poison damage here and there and fetish army damage here and there is going to make it better, but they're not necessary to the core of the build. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be putting up a ton of videos the next day or two from Reaper of Souls since the beta is closing. That way there's a little bit of a consolidated area for you guys to see different builds and things like that. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.